穿山甲係全球被走私最多嘅哺乳類動物。喺亞洲，佢唔單止俾人當野味咁食，鱗片仲被用嚟做中藥。由於被大量捕殺，東南亞嘅穿山甲已經岌岌可危。過去4年，香港海關一共查獲30噸走私鱗片，從喀麥隆、尼日利亞、南非等非洲國家走私到港，意味最少有5萬隻穿山甲慘遭捕殺。數據顯示，不法分子已經將魔掌由東南亞伸延去到非洲。
African pangolin scales started to appear in seized consignments. Before that, it was, as I said, mainly Sunda pangolins as far as we could see. So scales are quite different. They're quite noticeable, even just at a glance. You can tell that they're different from the Sunda pangolin scales.
點解生活喺數萬公里以外嘅非洲穿山甲會被走私嚟到香港呢？係咩人做緊呢啲非法勾當呢？
我而家就喺機場，今次就會飛喺南非嘅最大城市 Johannesburg。
香港01記者同喀麥隆綠色回音記者阿坡深入南非同西非聯合調查走私源頭。南非約翰內斯堡係非洲嘅經濟中心，記者遠赴當地售賣野生動物製品市場，扮買家調查當地染血嘅非法貿易。
So if we look at this year alone, it's 34.7 tons of pangolin scales that have left Africa or been seized in Africa destined for Asia.
That represents approximately 10% of the actual trade.
喺售賣野生動物製品市場，記者首先遇到一群兜售象牙嘅走私犯，並且意外接觸到專門售賣穿山甲嘅非洲商販 Oger。聽到記者對穿山甲鱗片有興趣 ，Oger 即刻好興奮咁樣展示自己最近捉到嘅穿山甲。
This one I sold it already. I sold it to another guy, another Chinese.
For how?
For eating?
Yeah, for eating.
Can you eat here?
No, not me. I don't eat. Chinese, you guys will eat.
佢話活生生嘅穿山甲唔容易捉，可能要3-4個月先捉到一隻。但佢有穿山甲鱗片出售，仲約記者第日睇貨。
It's animal?
Yeah, it's animal.
This is the one that is pangolin.
This is a pond. You see?
Smell.
You see the smell?
Here the smell.
It's illegal?
No, it's not illegal. This one is illegal. That's why we take it.
I can't buy it here?
No. You can buy and take it anyway.
Those people they buy from us here.
They buy from us, they take it there.
Can you actually ship there? It's not
Or you
allowed.
can make a plot yourself.
當記者拒絕購買，就即刻俾5-6個小販圍住，周旋咗成個鐘，記者先至成功離開。喺西非國家喀麥隆，90%嘅穿山甲生活喺叢林地區，當地人會當穿山甲係野味咁食。但係記者阿坡調查發現，近年由於亞洲市場對於鱗片嘅需求大增，令到當地人瘋狂咁樣獵殺穿山甲。
Where he has his pangolin, he cooks the meat and sells the meat. He get the scales, wash the scale, dry it on the sun, and then put it, keep it, and wait for a buyer who always come. Which means that now, like this, pangolin is becoming more profitable than it used to be. The people who bring it from these rural areas are middlemen. So they bring it from the rural area and then they sell to the Chinese who are in the town waiting for them, and then the Chinese they later continue from there.
非洲鱗片走私涉及巨大嘅利潤。以喀麥隆為例，從當地獵人收購鱗片嘅價格，大概每公斤15蚊港紙。內地藥房嘅市價大概係講緊每公斤6000蚊港元。單以香港海關過去4年查獲嘅數量計算，整個不法集團一共賺接近2億。
When it becomes a commodity and it's got a financial value, it means you can sell it for whatever. So it then changes hands to someone who collects all the scales and it's sent off to Central Asia or to China to be processed as traditional medicine.
調查野生動物走私嘅英國非政府組織環境調查處項目負責人 Julian Newman 同記者透露，非洲嘅獵人、商人同埋一啲華人精心策劃咗一條鱗片嘅走私路線，背後竟然有一個神秘嘅香港商人操控。呢條走私路線係由非洲經新加坡、韓國釜山，再到香港，最後尾到達內地。
Any groups that can move pangolin scales or ivory on the scale that we are seeing are obviously very organised. The route in question, which went through South Korea, was controlled by a mysterious Hong Kong businessman whose name is still elusive. This person has a plastics factory in southern China. They decided to use the contraband was disguised amongst plastic pellets. Now these plastic pellets then moved to Singapore, then into South Korea, in Busan port, from Busan into Hong Kong, from Hong Kong into the mainland. Now, as this gentleman has a plastics factory, this would not raise any suspicions. It would be usual business.
佢哋又發現，釜山港嘅船運公司負責人有一張報價單，列出走私野生動物嘅價格。穿山甲鱗片嘅走私收費係每公斤45蚊美金。俾咗錢之後，佢哋會做一批假嘅文書，將貨櫃改頭換面。但係呢個香港商人嘅身份同埋蹤跡仍然係一個謎。過去4年，海關一共查獲61宗非洲鱗片走私，但係只得10宗被檢控，而且懲罰亦都好輕。
It's really not enough to be a deterrent for these really organised syndicates that are doing this. I think that Hong Kong can play a potentially very impactful role. A huge portion of the illegal pangolin scale trade is coming through Hong Kong. So if we can catch the criminals here, and if we can prosecute them effectively, then we can really have a big effect and in dismantling these international operations and help to save the species for the future.
作為香港人，我哋可唔可以督促政府中斷呢條染血嘅鱗片走私鏈，拯救瀕危嘅穿山甲呢？下一集我哋會再到內地探討食穿山甲嘅文化同埋不法貿易。